Part 9. And remember, horror, Halloween, haunted house, operators, owners, fans, and everyone in between. These videos were made to kind of inspire haunted houses to share information. This is back before you could go through Universal Studios Horror Nights and videotape the whole thing and throw it on YouTube. So back then there was no YouTube, there was none of that kind of stuff. So the only outlet for people to learn from each other was either to visit those haunts in person while they were running their own, or buy a Hauntworld the movie. And this is part 9. We have a bunch of haunted house parades that happened back in the early 2000s, late 1990s. We also have a trip through Verdun Manor with Lance Pope. Yes, Lance Pope, who sadly passed away, but his legendary haunt of Verdun Manor lives on, and you get to see Lance Pope in Verdun Manor, which is near Dallas, Texas. And that's on this video. There's some clips of Netherworld Haunted House. We have more from Dr. Lady, and we have Night Scream. And it's all here, plus like haunted tips from like literally 20 years ago. And I can tell you that being the host of all these videos, a lot is the same and a lot is different. You know, we didn't have social media. We did all of our advertising through television and radio, some newspaper, billboards, what you would call more the traditional media. And of course, the video quality has changed, as you'll see when you watch the video. Now, grab your popcorn and get ready for Hauntworld the movie, Part 9.
This is exactly where we left off for Hauntworld Part 8 to Part 9. I'm still wearing the same shirt, the same exact jacket, the same hairdo. Everything's the same, except it's a different tape. On this tape, we're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff. We're going to keep going on how to create your own haunted house. We're going to take a look at a daylight tour of Verdun Manor, which is, I'm telling you, extremely awesome. We're going to take a look at a 3D montage of 3D houses that we've built here at Halloween Productions. We're going to take a look at Pirates of the Emerson, which is a really cool house. A quick clip of Netherworlds, an update from the year before. A few quick shots of Spooky World. We're going to take a look at Dr. Lady's Horror Hotel. And we're going to take a little clip of Dan Augusto's Haunted Hayride. Okay, we got a lot to cover and not a lot of time, so let's jump right into it. We're going to talk about animatronics and the difference between the different types of animations. There are two types. There's pop-out, which is an animatronic that just literally, jumps out and tries to get a good fright. And then there's the show type animations, which are, like we make like big giant werewolves that, are real huge and impressive. Distortions makes these giant trolls that jump up, and they have electric chairs and so on and so forth. So there's two different kinds of animatronics, and I think both are important. Let's talk about both of them. You have pop-out animations for a quick scare. The best kind is, in my opinion, an air cannon, which basically the actor or the customer walks by and they get a quick burst of loud air, and that gets a good scare. Number two is a cheap effects, and the more the merrier. I think that if you're going to get like pop-ups, try to find the cheapest ones you can, because the more you have, the better your show will be, the more things are popping out and scaring people. And we're talking about things that will shoot out of a window, things that will pop up from underneath or drop out or whatever. And then, just look for ones that just you think are going to get a great screen, because they are important in today's day and age with actors being so hard to come by. I think that a show that is going to be completely reliant on actors is not a good idea. So get one that'll go for a great screen. Now, on the other hand, you have show animations. Pop-up animations, pop-out things coming out of coffins and stuff is not going to look good on TV. It's not going to look good for your television commercials. It's not going to look good at any, on anything like that. Now, on the other hand, if you have a gigantic troll that pops out like Distortions, or if you have their electric chair, which I think is a little overdone, but things along those lines, or for example, the big wolf I was talking about. It's a full-size character. It looks like it belongs in Disneyland. Obviously, it's not quite that good, but it's still along the same lines. What they're good for is it gets people going, ooh, look how cool that looks. Kind of like, the black hole tunnel. People walk through there, it's an ooh and it's an ah. It's not necessarily a scream or a scare, but it's an effect. It's something that looks very impressive. Something jumping out, of course it's going to make you startle or whatever, but it's not going to be something you're going to talk about. A big, giant, hideous looking monster that's moving around, or maybe some hideous skeleton that's like got like an animated circular saw that's talking to you and being evil. I think that's going to get people talking about how cool it was. They're not going to talk about the pop-ups, but you need both. And also a multi-motion animation is going to be great for news coverage, because they can film it. It looks good. It's a skeleton talking to them. It's a monster, moving around. And I think that is going to help your media coverage. And the other great thing about a show animation, a multi-motion, is I think that a lot of times it can be the scene. Like a troll from Distortions. You can build a scene around that animation. Now, the other things we're going to talk about, animations or actors. Which one's better? This is something that people debate about for years. I think today you got to have both. You can't have 50 actors. You just can't. I think that if you had 50 actors, I think maybe only 40% of them are doing anything worthwhile. So why have 30 actors running around basically being terrible? It's hard to keep actors these days. I think we all know this. So obviously, a combination of animatronics that get a scream or that get an effect, an ooh and ah, are really important. Now, also, when you're trying to figure out whether an animation replaces an actor, because I've heard people talk about this over and over again, I like to use math, a calculator to determine this. If you take 31 days times 5 hours on an average, because you might be running less on weekdays than on weekends, times $8, even though you may be paying the actor $6, you still have FICA and whatnot, that's only $1,250, There's not very many animations that cost $1,250 that are worth buying. So when you're going to buy an animation, you're thinking, I'm going to replace an actor, I'm going to save money. You're only going to save $1,250. So that animation, let's say you buy one that costs $3,000. It's something that's going to pay for itself over 3 years. So you have to use math when considering whether or not it's actually going to work for you. Another thing we're going to talk about is costumes. We're going to run through this. We're going to talk about costumes, what to look for. How many Grim Reaper outfits do you have? I think if we had to count them, I think this tape would be 4 hours long rather than 2. So Grim Reaper costumes seem to be the way to go. And one of the worst things I hate, seeing is a Grim Reaper with Nike tennis shoes. That really looks scary. So I'm going to talk about Grim Reaper costumes. If you're going to use a lot of Grim Reaper costumes, number one, make sure that they use the robe and pull it over the face. I think it looks a lot more sinister. And I think a Grim Reaper costume should go with a mask. I can't remember if it's Distortions or Cinema Secrets. One of them sells, I think it might be Cinema Secrets, sells an awesome looking mummy mask with gauze on it. It's awesome in that Grim Reaper robe. And I think if you're going to use Grim Reaper robes, they need to be in the scenes that where they're jumping out of windows and so on and so forth, rather than being out in the middle of the room, because they don't look quite as good. But one of the things you want to do if you have a Grim Reaper robe, let's look at this skeleton, for example. If we can pan over here. You see this really cool gauze, okay? It's actually really cool. It's really cheap. And I think you can take this and you can chop it up like we've done here. You can sew it into the Grim Reaper costume, like off the shoulders, maybe some off the robe, make it the costume look a lot more, old and ancient. So this is very cheap cheesecloth. Just make sure you fire coat it or whatever prior to. You can also get this. You could dye it red or green or whatever you want to do. You could get all kinds of different strips of clothing or cloth and just spice up the Grim Reaper costume. You'll be doing yourself a favor. Mask or makeup, which one? I say 50-50. If you go to Knott's Berry Farm, they're the biggest in the business. They use almost all masks. Okay, they use almost 100% masks. Some people say they use makeup. They do some, but they cannot decorate 1,000 people with makeup. It's not possible. And the thing that looks worse than anything is an actor with black around the eyes and blood poured all over his face. It looks horrible. Get some good masks and use masks because they are scary. So I like a 50-50 split. Here's some couple things to look for when you're talking about your costumes and stuff. Look for white tennis shoes. Look for white t-shirts underneath the costume. Usually you can see the collar from the Grim Reaper robe comes down here. It looks really tacky. Too much blood, I always thought looked bad. The right mask for the right scene. What the heck would you have? A clown mask in a dungeon. It just doesn't make any sense. Try to get the actors that are going to work in a certain area to be wearing the same, style costume as the scene represents them to be. And then also, it's real important, try to get somebody that's really devoted to your haunted house and assign them to be the person that collects the masks and makeup and all that stuff. Because I found if you let actors hang up their own masks and their costumes, they just tear them up. And if you get somebody totally in charge, pay them a little bit more, and I think you'll be happier. Now we're going to talk about actors, because we just keep this rolling. How do you psych up your actors? That's something that's really been hard for a lot of people, and I'm going to talk about it right now. One of the things that we do is we provide soft drinks and snacks for the actors. Like typically on a busy night, 2 times a night, maybe if we open at 7, well, around 9 o'clock, 9:30, we'll send people running through with sodas, water, whatever they want. Obviously you need to have water jugs and whatnot for them to have access to throughout the night. But bringing them a soda midway through and then one last push towards the end, get that caffeine going, really helps them, and they really appreciate that. I've seen a lot of haunted houses sell their soda to the actors for half off or whatever. That's a bad idea. Give your actors a soda, keep them happier. Another thing, you can go to your radio stations, instead of giving all those prizes like CDs and junk like that away to the people who come to your haunted house, those CDs and prizes that your radio stations bring is not going to make the people that are already there any more happier. Take those prizes away and use them to give to your actors for contests, for best actors, and stuff like this. Also look for the actors that play different roles. There's 2 kinds of actors, I believe. There's an actor who's really good at startling and scaring people. Then there's the other type of actor that likes to talk, that likes to be psychologically, scary. And I don't think there's very many actors that are very good at being psychologically scary. So to have an actor that isn't good at it, trying to do it, I think brings your show down. So try to pinpoint who does what, and so you can have a better idea of who should play what role. But typically, I think if you're going to have psychologically scary actors, you should only have a few, sprinkled throughout. Because remember, people are paying to be scared. So you need to focus on scaring people. Another thing is you can have section awards, okay? What we do is if we have a haunted house, which we're going to go back to the chart here, and we got here's the beginning of the haunted house. Let's divide it in 4 again. We have section 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have a section leader for each section. So let's say, for example, he's not necessarily assigned to one scene. He's assigned to his section to roam around, make sure things are going okay. He's typically got a radio, so he can wire into the security, whatever. And if one of his actors needs to leave a scene, of course, he can fill in for that role. But if you have your sections broken up, you can have, hey, tonight we're going to have a contest, a cash prize for the best section. And of course, you're going to be the judge. Another thing that's really cool that you might want to consider is Hall's cough drops. I've always said that and I think I said this on their tape, I went through a haunted house once and this girl comes out and she starts screaming at me, ah! And then she actually asked me if she scared me, and I thought to myself, well, you were screaming at me. It's like, isn't the object of what you're trying to do to get me to scream, not you? So screaming, I don't think, is very effective at your customers. But typically, you have your haunted house actors saying their voices are going out and whatnot. If you put on a big bowl of Hall's cough drops, I'm telling you, as they're screaming and hollering and whatever else all night long, and they're sucking on these Hall's cough drops, you will notice that their voices do not have that effect. At the end of the night, you won't see your actors saying, I can't talk. They will be able to. It makes a huge difference, and you ought to give it a whirl. So now that we've covered just a lot of ground here, let's jump out and see a haunted house, because I know that that's a big part of why you buy these tapes. The first haunted house we're going to take a look at a couple in a row. We're going to take a look at some clips that I took last year when I went out to see David Berlino's Spooky World. He's got the whole place different. We're just going to show you a quick few clips so you can kind of get an idea of what he's got going on out there. And after that, who knows?
Look up, open your eyes, you might see something better. How y'all doing? Hey! Quick, flash that light everywhere.
The Dark One had a way of bringing out the evil within. you.
Help us! Please help us! The rat's killing us! We need to fly.
You're not hanging there. You could be the next victim.
Will you be our next victim? Who will it be? Me.
Apparently, they have decided to let us all pass. Let's hope the executioner feels the same way. As I said, creation once more will as evil as we. Allow the impairment. We need to become the first vampires and this is how we do it instead. You don't have this to let us like Chapel Street with Jack. The Ripper! His first victim was stabbed 39 times. And what did he say?
Anyone who wants to spend the night with me, please spend the night with me. They are the only thing keeping you from the grasp of the minion. So the dog at the dead. Gypsy camp, come, sing, dance, join us.
Chicken, making Colonel Sanders proud.
Yeah, we'll see you the other side.
Shut up! Looks like a dork fest here. Well, we gotta draw you back. Keep it moving, dorks. Don't want you, don't need you, don't even like you. Keep it moving. Don't let the door hit you on the backside. Hey, get up off my couch! Nobody invited me to stay. Looks like a lie. Don't sit on my furniture, little dork. Ready? Now? Oh, all right, dork. Get the Saturday!
man, and we're here at Spooky World, America's horror theme park. How about a tour of the old place? This way, if you have the courage.
Okay, now we're back. We're going to talk about some more tips on how to create your own haunted house. Now we're going to switch to marketing. Now that we've talked about the actors, the maze design, the theming, and everything else over the past 2 tapes, we're going to talk about advertising and publicity. They're different, okay? A lot of people don't understand that. Advertising is what you buy. Publicity is what you get for free, okay? But publicity isn't free. A lot of people think if they send out a press release to the radio station or the TV station or newspaper, they're going to get a story. That's just not going to happen. And so we're going to talk about this real quick. Number one, obviously there's a big difference between the two. Number one, radio is big, in my opinion, on advertising. I like radio. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, television or so on and so forth. I like radio. And I like frequency when I buy radio. And what do I mean? I mean quantity over quality. I believe that when you're advertising on radio, you need to have as many spots running as often. So I usually skip morning shows, and I don't start advertising heavy until afternoon drive, some midday, and I hit them heavy in the afternoon drive when they're driving home, and of course 7 to midnight, because that's when a lot of teens are doing their homework and whatnot. So that is really important. Next, publicity. After radio, in my opinion, is your second biggest form of advertising. Why is that? Because there's 3 biggies. Obviously, radio, that gets the word out there that you're open, that you're there, what you have, what you're offering, so on and so forth. Second, publicity is what, it's what puts the rubber stamp on your haunted house. It says that this is a true attraction. This is really something that you need to see, because people believe what they read in the newspaper and what they see on television. So getting a newspaper to cover your attraction as a legitimate event really means a lot. That's going to drive a lot of customers. So that just enforces your radio. And then obviously another biggie is word of mouth. Word of mouth. Real important. This is what I believe. I believe that you advertise on the radio, you put your coupons out there, your sponsors' locations, whatever. That drives traffic. Now, we're typically open in September. I am buying the customer in September, and I'm putting out a good product. And so I'm buying the people in September, and eventually I get the publicity, which drives the customers, and it's like a cliff. Okay? I'm trying to get up to the top, which is September. I'm walking up a steep hill because I'm spending money. The money is falling out of my pocket as I walk up the hill. And then at some point, the publicity and the word of mouth kicks in, and it's all downhill. So I back off the radio. So in other words, I hit them heavy, real heavy, with lots of frequency from the beginning, and then eventually I let the publicity and the word of mouth kick in, and that's essentially how we advertise our haunted house. Now, another thing to keep in mind on radio, I like to use 2 or 3 radio stations. I believe that you should stick with your top 2 or 3 stations of the market that you're trying to hit. Typically, that's a top 40, and that would be your 2-star or 3-star, and then you've got like alternative rock, which would be number 2, and then I think you've got to find a station that focuses on women, and that's typically going to be, in our market now, we've got this 80s station. The thing that's real expensive, if you go to a station that targets women 24 to 45 or whatever, those stations are going to be too expensive. You'll burn a lot of money, okay, to a lot of people who are necessarily interested. If you stay with your top 40, your rock station, and something that's going to appeal to women, that plays a little bit lighter rock or whatever, you're going to get a lot of women with top 40. You're going to get a lot of teens with top 40. With your rock, you're going to get your young adults and your older males. And with your 80s type station or something that's like playing flashback type of music, you're going to get a lot of women. And so this is what I typically like to do. And also, if you keep your advertising budget down to 3 or 4 radio stations, you're going to be able to have more frequency. And so you're basically going to be able to tell your message, enough times to get the awareness on those stations. Another thing that you want to do, we're going to turn off the sheet, is your tickets. You want to try to trade as much as possible. Trade. We typically in this industry give away our tickets quite too frequently. And let me tell you something, a circus, a rock concert, any of that, they trade that stuff for promotion and publicity. They trade it for advertising and whatnot. So why do you give it away for that radio station to turn around and give them to their clients, okay? You're a client of a radio station. How many times have they said, hey, do you need some concert tickets, whatever? Where do you think they get those? They trade for them. But if you give them to them, they're doing the same thing. They're not giving away on the radio that often. They're giving away to customers of theirs. So you want to trade and you want to get value for your tickets. So that's really, really important. Make your tickets, treat them like gold. If every other haunted house is giving away, that's fine. That doesn't mean that you have to. Another thing, don't buy radio stations that you necessarily like. Buy the ones that you think target your audience. One of the things I do, I go to malls. I might be in the record store and I'll ask some kid, what radio station you listen to. I got a friend that's a woman and she's 39 years old. I might ask her what radio station you listen to. I like try to get the feel of the people. I talk to enough people to get the idea of what what my target audience is. And you want to try to do the same thing. A lot of people think that radio stations give away extra stuff, that they're selling it to you, like, that's all free stuff. You buy advertising, okay, and remotes and things like this should come for free. And typically, I like to know how much a nightclub is paying per week for some ongoing remote type thing, and I don't like to pay any more than that. On publicity, you need to try to hire somebody to do it for you. Trust me, don't do it yourself. Try to find a publicist who can do professional press releases that talk to the radio stations, that talk to the TV stations and the newspapers on a daily basis. It could be try to get a publicity company that deals with trying to place stories for movies and things like this. They talk to these people, they know these people, these entertainment people, and they can seriously help you, and it pays for itself, trust me. And if you do hire a publicity company, one of the things that I like to do is do your deal on incentive, okay? Incentive. And what that means is, like I'm going to pay you, if I get on the 10 o'clock news, I'll pay you $500, okay? If I get on in the daily newspaper, I'll pay you $500. A secondary type station, if I get, a story in a smaller newspaper, I'll pay you $150. If I get a radio interview, it's worth $50, so on and so forth. And so then you give the person doing your publicity the incentive to do a better job for you. Another thing that you might want to try is publicity stunts, celebrities, so on and so forth. I find that the celebrities work if you don't pay a lot of money for them, and you need to bring them out earlier than later because you're trying to drive the interest up for Halloween. You're trying to let the public aware, make them aware that Halloween's here again. So you want to try to do these things earlier than later. Another thing is, don't forget your roots, okay? What do I mean by your roots? Now that you're in the big time and you're spending gobs and gobs of money on advertising, how many of you people out there started doing it really small and used to go to the football games, okay, for example, and the fairs, used to dress up and do the fairs, and used to hand out the coupons? Do you remember doing that? I do. And you know what? Now that we've all gotten kind of relaxed and lazy because we let our advertising do our talking for us. Well, hey, the fact of the matter is, and you need to realize this, you typically have 31 days, even though, some people are running in October, September, they're typically doing it on weekends. You don't have much more than 31 days. You have a very short window to send a message, to get the people. So you need to do whatever you can do. And don't forget the football games and the fairs and all the other things that you used to do when you were smaller. And those things work. And I can tell you this, if you're not doing it, you can bet that there is some smaller haunted house out there trying to get bigger, and they are doing the football games and the fairs. So you don't want to lose sight of what got you to where you are. Another thing, and the last thing I'm going to say, is press party. Think original. Think, some kind of hook. I know I've talked about this before. We had a pair of underwear that we sent all the press, and it said your spare pair, because you never know when you're going to need it. So that was a pretty clever way of getting their attention. We've also sent them a hand in the mail with an invitation in the hand. And we've done just all kinds of little silly, crazy things. And it's always fun. I think when we sent out Halloween, we bought a whole bunch of Halloween movies and we sent them to the press. And that means a lot. Trust me. Now, I think we've talked enough. Let's go see another haunted house. What are we going to go see now? We're going to go see a haunted house that's totally mobile. It's put on by Carl Fields. It's called Pirates of the Emerson. And this place is dynamic. It's awesome. It's got lots of detail. And he takes it up and puts it down, he puts it up and takes it down every single season. Let's take a look.
Begins today, Friday the 13th.
And our Spencer Christian is getting into the spirit of things. He's at a popular haunted house in Fremont. Spencer, any scary weather ahead?
I know. Things are far from scary weather-wise, but if you go inside the place where I'm standing right now, you might find things a little bit scary. I'm trying to prove that I do not have triskaidekaphobia. Friday the 13th was no scare to me at all, even though early this morning we had a full moon, and some people might say that's cause to stay inside. But let me show you some video we shot inside the Pirates of Emerson a little bit earlier, just to give you an idea of what this place is all about. Now, it's open during the month of October, on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And you can bring a can of food when you come, by the way. You get $1 off the price of admission, and that food will go to the Tri-City Food Volunteers, part of the Alameda County Food Bank. Inside is sort of a creepy, scary, haunted carnival atmosphere, and you can find just about any kind of scare you want. But right now, we're going to scare up some nice weather for you. Here's a live look.
Okay, it is a scary day, and when there's a scary day, you need a scary weatherman.
That's right, Spencer Christian out in the East Bay having some fun.
I'm about the scariest of them all. Yeah, I got my broomstick double parked over here on the side. Look, it is a special day. It demands special weather. It's Friday the 13th. We had a full moon this morning, and we're only about 2 weeks away from Halloween. So I came to the scariest spot I could find to do weather, Pirates of Emerson in Fremont. Just follow me on in here. I'll show you. Just looking at the door is scary enough. And as you walk in, anything might happen. You don't know what to do. Whoa!
So you come seek an adventure, does you?
Yeah, a little bit of adventure, yes, absolutely.
Well, you come to the right spot you have. The Pirates of Emerson be the ones.
I hope we have. We got a friend of yours in the coffin here.
That's my friend. Shall be yours very soon, indeed.
And a former weather person over here on this chair. Oh, yeah. You want to show us what's behind that door, maybe?
I will see you all later.
Okay. Scary place here, the Pirates of Emerson. And I'm told they're like this all year round. This place is open during the month of October, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. But right now, I think I'd better get into the weather. Let's take a live look from Sutro Camp. Look.
Something bad is coming to the Bay Area, mateys. The Pirates of Emerson. The Bay Area's premier haunted attraction in Fremont. Arrgh. The Pirates of Emerson invades over 30,000 square feet, including a 3D maze, along with an award-winning haunted pirate ship that was ranked one of the top 13 most innovative haunted attractions in the entire country by Playboy.com. The Pirates of Emerson, between 880 and 680 on the corner of Grimmer and Warm Springs Boulevard in Fremont. The Pirates of Emerson opens Thursday, October 5th from 7 to 10:30 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays 7 to midnight. And October 30th to 31st from 6:30 to 10. Thursdays are student discount night. Present a valid ID and get $3 off.
The Pirates of Emerson is not for the faint of heart. 13 and under must be admitted with an adult.
Brought to you by Spencer's Gifts, AOL, Cards and Golf, and American Speedy Printing of Fremont. For more info, go to piratesofemerson.com or AOL keyword Halloween.
best friends in the business is Lance Pope out in Dallas, the Dallas market. He's got the most awesome, I mean, it's one of my top 5 favorite haunted houses that I've ever seen. And we featured him on these tapes several times. Well, now we got something new and original to show you. Lance Pope is giving a daylight tour to somebody from a news station or something like this. You're going to see overhead shots and all kinds of other stuff. It's really, really cool. So let's go out and let's take a look at that. And after that, immediately after that, we're going to take a look at another good friend of mine, John Dolan. He's got a haunted house in a really small town of somewhere in Illinois. I can't even remember off the top of my head now. And it's a very small town. It's in Illinois. And I'm telling you, this haunted house is just jam-packed with detail. And the house is only like 3,000 square foot. So this is for all the guys out there in the small towns. Take a look at John Dolan's Creature's Crypt, back to back.
You today?
Well, I'm in Terrell, Texas, and I got to tell you, this is kind of like the holy grail. If you really are into haunted houses, I've got the owner, Lance Pope of Thrillvania. Lance, step out on this bridge because I want folks to kind of... Yeah, I know you don't want it because it's kind of spooky and it moves. But this house, which we're going to see this hour on Good Morning Texas, is so incredible. I feel safer here because only the bridge moves, you know? Right. I feel good because I can actually kind of stroll across and nothing... Well, I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about that. That's you don't need a fire-breathing dragon breathing down your neck. Whoa! My!
Especially when he's that nasty.
Whoa! Now I'm a little nervous, Lance.
Talk about the breath.
Yeah, now I'm a little nervous.
Watch out for those cannonballs.
This is the entryway to Verdon Manor, is that right?
Yeah, they've got to go through the Bridge of Doom before they get into the haunted house.
This to me is not a good omen because right away you're shaken up. You can barely get across the bridge. You've got a whole area out front here, and this is kind of like the courtyard area of the living dead, so to speak.
Well, you have to have the family cemetery with any large mansion.
Of course.
This one just gets added to an awful lot, that's all.
You're dripping blood from your fountain. Did you talk to your contractor about that?
We hadn't been able to understand that one just yet. I think it has something to do with the birds getting ground up in the pump. I don't know.
and you've had a hanging already, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, he just kind of hangs around guard supplies.
Just dangling. Okay. I mean, you can get an idea just from the outside as just how spectacular this is. And later on in the show, Good Morning Texas, we're going to take a look at inside the bowels, if you will, of this Thrillvania. It's pretty scary stuff. It's great stuff, and we'll be giving you more previews throughout the hour. So quick freak out. We hope you all do that there.
Thrillvania. I love the name of that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's well done inside. Wait till you see the special effects. They're incredible.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Known as a fixer-upper. This is in Texas. GMT's Tom Lewis will have a live look when we come back.
Okay. Well, see, we got a little pyrotechnics here. Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. Fireballs here on top of the Young Manor. This is part of Thrillvania. I'm in Terrell, Texas, and I'm on top here on the second floor. This place is so big. There's so much to see in this haunted house that it's hard to cover it all. But, you know, I think if I run, if I can get downstairs fast enough, you can see at least some of what's on the other side. I think I'm going to do that now. Hang on a second. I'll be right back.
Hey, Tom, you ready for this?
I'm ready to go. Let's take a tour. All right, Lance, right away I got a spooky feeling in here. What is this?
Oh, you name it, we've got it here. We've got freaks of every type.
So far, everything's pretty calm, Lance. I like that. Not a lot of motion, not a lot of movement. Whoa!
I like to throw you off guard.
Yeah, that'll throw me off right there. What is that?
That's a giant maggot. Watch what you touch, Tom. These things bite.
Yeah, they look like they're going to get out of the cage at any time here, Lance. Oh, these guys are just a little antsy, aren't they?
Yeah. Too much caffeine.
Too much caffeine for that fella. Right?
Oh, look at go!
All right, guys. We don't need to get close.
Like I said, stay quiet. Everything will leave us alone, probably.
That's what we should do, then. Stay quiet. Oh!
You did it again.
He's an angry sort. All right.
Oh, duck.
Yeah! Get back.
You missed me.
Well, Lance, I gotta tell you, that's pretty spooky.
I hope you're okay with that.
I'm good with that. I'm gonna check in with you later, all right?
All right.
Very good, then.
We'll be waiting.
There's more to see. Okay, I tell you, that stuff, that's just a tip of the iceberg of what you get out here at Thrillvania. As mentioned, this is kind of like the main haunted area, but they've got like a hayride, and they've got a busted explosion, everything like that. But right below me here, they got some pretty freaky things as well, and we're going to get a live look with Lance Pope, the owner of Thrillvania, and find out why you need to be here if you love haunted houses. I'm telling you, this, Doug and Gina, a lot of time and effort put into this, and it will scare you. It really will. This is not fun and games. It will scare you.
I was going to say, it's very, very elaborate. It doesn't look like it's something for the little kids.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the kids will get a fright out of it for sure, but the adults will appreciate it because it's almost like a museum inside. In fact, there's some things that are actual relics that have a lot of value and some significance as far as entertainment goes. So we'll take a look at some of that stuff inside. But yeah, kids will get scared and adults will love it too.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Good luck with the rest of the tour.
The scariest haunted houses.
One of the haunted houses is part of Thrillvania here. We take a look at Halloween, and this is good stuff. We're inside with Lance. Lance is the owner of this place, and Lance, I like the fact that this is like one of the first scenes you come to in here, and everything's calm, you know. All these guys are fake, so the kids aren't going to get scared. You know, plastic dummies are a very good way to start this thing off because, like, look at that guy. I mean, you can tell he's fake. I mean, you didn't do a real good job. Oh, hey, what do you? This guy's a little hairy. You need a shave. Oh, he needs a shave. You might want to lather him up and shave him down. But as I said, you step through this thing, and it's great because nothing. Not right. That's a smart move. Nothing like starting with a heart attack, I think. Okay, now we got our heart going. We moved through the halls here, and you got a real good mood going here. What room is this?
This is Verdun's dining room. All of his guests are here kind of partying down. They're a little stiff today, though.
The meal didn't go down too good, did it?
No, not hardly.
It's amazing how much time and effort you put into it. I mean, look at the decoration involved here.
We had to squeeze a lot of spiders to get all those webs, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is a lot of work squeezing spiders, I'll tell you. You got, this looks like the end of the road here. You go, wow, I just got in your haunted house, and look, I'm already at the end here, but what do you do with this? Okay, all right, you're working with that guy. Oh, look.
First of all, you duck those guys.
Those, again, my relatives.
Second of all, you go through the door, just like the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, this is. We got about 30 seconds here. Wow, look at that.
Beautiful picture.
Oh, I'm ducking. I see. What I did was I'm smart. I ducked on that one. This is good stuff. Now, Lance, tell us about folks want to come to Terrell. Tell us your hours and how they can get here, because it's a little bit out of the ways of Dallas, but it's a good ride.
Yeah, we're open every day, starting at 7 o'clock, starting tomorrow all the way through Halloween, and we're located right off of I-20 East and Wilson Road, just a little bit east of Terrell.
What do you charge to get in here?
It's $22 for the all-night thrill ticket. You can do all the haunts on the property as many times as you want.
I gotta tell you, Ryan, for $22, it is a tremendous value because you really like it out here. You did a great job. Thanks. We appreciate you having us out here. One of the best haunted houses you will see. Bring the family, bring yourself out here to Verdun Manor in Terrell, Texas. It's spooky stuff. Well worth the dough. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
All right, no problem.
Safely.
Yes.
I just have more fun watching you dumb humans line up all of them. Ain't there any sense left in any of them? You put the best dropped on your head when you were born. This whole world of action is David Seal's brain. Even you think, I ain't this way of consent with that old mansion. Done waiting for you a long time. This belly's been a heck of fresh meat. And now, supper time.
That time, face the horrors I created in the past. Walk into the light. Come into the place where your worst nightmares are given rise. I will taste your fear, and I will follow the cinnamon back to the presence. Lord, into the past, that I may... Foolish mortals. Listen.
It's the Putty Zombie. Any word for posterity? I appropriated it. We had some damn good footage of Verdun and Hayride.
Okay, now we're going to jump right into sponsorship, because a lot of people want to talk about, it's hard to get sponsors and so on and so forth. Yeah, it is pretty difficult. One of the key things you got to remember is to start early. You can't start at the last minute and try to think you're going to get any money. Number one, if you haven't had sponsors before, you've had a hard time, don't start by asking for money. Start by trying to trade. Get something that's going to help your haunted house, like get on a Pepsi can with a coupon, or get some chip company to put some coupon sticker on their chips, in the store or whatever. Get point of purchase displays in some C-store chain, whatever it takes. Okay, because remember, you're trying to sell tickets, so start by asking for the trade, and you build up from there. You show them what the value is, and after you've gotten some good sponsors, you can go to other sponsors if the old ones won't give you cash. So another thing is, think about what a sponsor covets. When you go to seek out a sponsor, what do they covet? What do they need? What are they looking for? What's going to make their business go? What's going to help them sell more soda, for example? How can you tie in? So you have to remember, what is it that particular person covets? Okay, so you need to know this when you go and pitch them. It doesn't make any sense to try to get Pepsi. You're not going to sell very much Pepsi at your place, so you can't sell a sponsorship based on the fact that we're going to be exclusive with Pepsi. Let me give you an example. If you're going to sell soda, what do they covet? What do they need? You could say, I'm going to tag you on my advertising. Big deal. You think Pepsi really needs more advertising? They spend millions and millions of dollars. There's something you got to realize about sponsorship. They have 100% market awareness. That means everybody already knows about it, so a little more advertising isn't going to help. They need to drive traffic. They need to drive sales. So obviously, a Pepsi can with a discount coupon on the can, for example, or you bring in a Pepsi can and you get $5 off. The number one coupon, for example, with a Pepsi can. Now that would be something they would covet, because they can go into stores and market it. Buy a 6-pack, or buy a Pepsi or whatever, and save $3 off a so-and-so attraction. That's an example. And just think about that on every single level. What does this sponsor need? What does this sponsor need? To drive traffic so they can see results. The other thing I like to say is the wow factor. You've got to, when you're pitching your sponsors, you got to say, look, we're not looking just to have our coupon sitting in your stores. We're looking to create a sponsorship that goes wow. That it's a wow factor for you and me. And when you think about the wow factor and you pitch the wow factor, I'm telling you, you'll open some eyes. When I walk in, I'm like, look, I don't want to have a sponsorship here that's just there. I only want to make sponsorships with partners that say, wow, this is big. This is going to turn some heads, and this is going to make some traffic drive for my attraction and some sales for yours. And so keep that in mind. It's a wow factor. And I picked that up. I sat in on a seminar that Best Buy had done at the IAG show, and they said, we only look at sponsorships that just make us go wow. So you need to think about that when you're pitching them. You also need to think about keywords and hot buttons. What are the keywords for a particular, like say for example, go back to soda. A keyword is sell soda in the store. In a grocery store, that's a huge thing for them. So when you go to pitch Pepsi, the key word here is, I want to help you sell more soda in the store, period. Okay, that's a key word for them. That's something that's important. So you got to try to remember that. Don't always think conventional, like, oh, we're going to distribute coupons. You got to try to invent a sponsorship with that particular company in mind. What is it that they covet? What is it that they need? And try to create a sponsorship that you think is going to be unique to them. And something that's a little more creative, that's not so cut and dry, that they see every day. Something that sounds fun. People like fun. And lastly, a lot of haunted houses now are going to parties for their sponsors. We're going to have a VIP party for you. You're going to get 100 tickets, and you're going to have a party on a particular night. We're going to provide you guys soda and food and whatnot, and you guys are going to get to bypass the lines and go straight in. And I think that would mean a whole lot to a sponsor, especially like a soda company who might invite their vendors, okay, to the party for them to show their appreciation for getting better placement on shelves and so forth. So that could mean a whole lot in the long run to help your sponsorship sales. Now, we're going to cut and go straight to the internet. A lot of people think that the internet is a really important way of promoting your business, and it is. What do I think the internet is? I think the internet is an interactive phone line. And what do I mean by that? A lot of haunted houses I've seen have a, they answer the phone. You can't answer all the calls. It's impossible. Your phone will always be busy. So one of the things that we try to do right off the bat is we have an interactive phone line. Okay? And you can set this up with like call notes, for example. But you might want to have different boxes. You can have a greeting, okay? And it goes into choose one for the haunted house information or directions or whatever, or you can have one big long spiel. But the key thing is you can set this thing up to say take 5 calls at a time. So by having a real phone line that cuts off the you having to answer every single phone call, you got a number that people call, and guess what? It's 24 hours. Okay? And people can get all the who, what, when, where, and how off this. And you need to make it idiot-proof. Give them all the information. Some people believe being short and sweet. I believe in telling them everything they need to know so they won't call you. Okay? Now, I think the internet is basically the same thing. It is an interactive phone line, but the cool thing about it is it's got pictures. So when you're creating your internet site, you need to put your best foot forward. Don't make something that's silly. You need to go all out and have some cool graphics and images. And if you don't have that much, don't make the site very big. Keep it simple and plain, and give them the information they want, some pictures, some graphics, and so on and so forth. And remember that you need to have some cool images and pictures. When you take pictures of your haunted house, take the pictures of the best scenes. Don't take a picture of every scene. Just have maybe 5, 10 pictures. Cool, quick, simple stuff. You don't want to put any doubt in their mind whatsoever. So, another tip on your website is have a counter. If you make your website a focal point of your advertising, like scarefest.com presents or whatever, and you put that's our website for our haunted houses. We had 32,000 unique visitors come to our website just from St. Louis market alone. That's a lot of visitors that hit that website. And I like to have a counter. Why do I want a counter on my website? I want people to know that 32,000 people have come before them. Okay, and by the end of next year, it should be around 60,000 plus. And the following year, it'll be 90,000 plus. And so on and so forth, 110,000 plus, and what on. So, by year 4, the customer knows that you've got something going on. You've got something good going on. So higher that counter is, and it has to be believable now. Start at 0 and let it build. I'm telling you, it will. In the people's minds, they'll think, psychologically, that you have a really cool event going on. What are some of the things you can have on your internet site? Obviously, the first thing you need is a URL. Don't have this something dot blah 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 .com // You need to have something simple that they can remember. Haunted Woods, Terror House, whatever it is. You need to have a simple URL. Some of the things you can have on your website is a fact page. that they can click on. It has questions and answers. Every idiotic question you've ever been asked, you can have in the fact page. Directions, how to get there. Sponsors, okay, where can they pick up the coupons? That could be a real essential piece of your website. What's new? That's something that we just added to all of our websites, is what's new. That's the top link. What's new? What's going on? It could be after the season. They might click in and they want to know what's happening because you haven't had a chance to update your site. But you can, with simple text, tell people what's new, what's going on today. You can have a survey, which we've added to our website. Why a survey? Let your have them answer questions that you need to know. Instead of staying in the back of your haunted house, have a survey on your website. Get 500 people, tell you what they like and what they don't like. So that could be really important. Sell your tickets online. You don't necessarily have to use Ticketmaster or whatever, but sell your tickets and they can pick them up will call, meaning come up to your window and pick up their tickets. It's very important that you try to sell. They're there. It's an impulse. They see it, they want it, and let them have it. Another thing is tell them what you're offering. You're offering what attractions, you're offering what discounts and what deals and so on and so forth. So that's really important. And you need to have a TOC page, okay, that's simple and plain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Here's the topics. Now, a lot of people think, you got to have fancy flash and all this other stuff. I say no. I say that people are at your website because they want one thing, information. And if you have a website that's got all this funky flash and all this stuff that takes forever to load in, click out. People are not going to sit there and wait for 30 minutes for this site to load in so you can have scary music and whatnot. You want it to look good, but you want to have the facts, the information. Another thing that you might want to offer on your website is a mailing group or a message board so that people can talk about your attraction, okay? So they can talk to other people and you can keep people coming back to your site more often throughout the rest of the year. And then obviously you want to offer links to other websites like Hauntworld.com, for example. And I think that when you offer links to other attractions, you're saying that your haunted house is good. We're not afraid to send you to the other haunted houses. So now that we've talked about the internet and whatever, let's go take a look at another haunted house. And I think you're really going to like this one. So let's cut away and let's take a look at Dr. Lady's Horror Hotel.
Welcome to HalloweenStudios.com. My name is David Britt, or as some people have unaffectionately begun calling me, Demented Dave. I would like to welcome everybody from the Hauntworld industry and community, just to say congratulations on everybody who managed to survive the 2000 season without filing for bankruptcy or for completely going out of business. So I just working on a few new props for this year, and just wanted to pass along some information, maybe some ideas that I've come up with, and if you've come up with them, shame on you. No, just kidding. One of the things that you can get at every Five and Dime is these cheap plastic skeletons. They about look as much like a skeleton as Jason looks like Michael Myers, or maybe the Crypt Keeper looks like Elvira. But there are a lot of things you can do with them. In fact, I don't know, do you have some ideas about it?
Well, humans go to school. Monsters go to goal.
That is not quite what I had in mind. There is something you can do if you take one of these cheap red mahogany finishes. You take that and you take a sponge brush and you slather it onto the skeleton, and he ends up looking a lot like this, a corpse. And as a matter of fact, you can take these, impale them on a stake backwards, like that, hang them up in your haunted house by their feet. That's a rather disgusting effect. And another number of other ideas. Well, there's actually one more idea I have to give you about how to use one of these skeletons, and it's just a matter of getting some more skeletons. So, tell you what, while I'm getting a few more skeletons, why don't y'all take a look at Spring Villa's Trail of Terror. It's a zero budget haunted attraction we do in Opelika, Alabama. Shoestring budget, lots of enthusiastic actors, but basically we're growing every year, and it was a pretty good year this year. So why don't you check that out while I get some more skeletons. Well, I've got to say, Sam Bailey and the Opelika Parks and Rec, they really make up for a lot of budget by enthusiasm. And they really did a great job of putting that one on, and we had a good time helping them design and build the props and help staff the attraction. Well, we've got a bit of a problem here. I think I went a little too far. They're just not holding together very well. Looks like we might need a spell or something to make this happen. Let's see what we can get them back together. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Why don't we consult the Necronomicon and see if we can find a spell that will help bring them back together.
Oh, David, you will never possess the Necronomicon. You will die in the graveyard before you get it.
Well, actually, I've already got it. Hello? Let's see. Oh yes, this may do it. Klaatu Varata Nickel Necktie Nectar. No. Oh yes, here it is. Klaatu Varata Nicto Nickel cadmium battery. Nothing is working. Well, listen, maybe you can do something with it.
Oh, these darn union jobs. All right, let me see what I can do. Oh, you miserable bags of bones. Pick yourselves up and sally fuck. Sally fuck. Sally forth.
Well, I think you got it. I think it worked. They held together just fine. Thank you very much. I'm finally getting some decent help around here. Okay, so you take your skeleton again, and you slather him up with that cheap varnish, make him look like a corpse. Then you go to the hardware store and get your ultra cheap 2mm plastic. See? Then you take it, measure it out to as wide as the skeleton is. You cut that, spread it out on the ground, take your varnish again, and bloody up one side of the plastic. Once you have done that, you take and you fold, because the plastic is going to be 10 feet long, so the skeleton is only 5 feet tall. So this works out perfectly. Take it and fold it in half with the bloody side out. Like so. Then you take your handy dandy seal it jibba job thing, just like that, and take the edges of the plastic and seal it down, both sides. One of the hardest things about doing a body bag is getting a big enough bag, and you can order them, but we all know how much they cost. So after you use that, you take your bag and you turn it inside out. Then take your skeleton, corpse, imitation rotting thing. You know, if you run low on corpses, your day workers are really good for this. And bring it up around. Bag him up there all nicely. Twist it around his neck. You can tie it off at the top there, like so. You can bloody it up more to give it more of that effect, but I think you know what I'm talking about there. That tends to give you the illusion of a whole room full. Say you do like 10 of these, hang them up in your just one of your front rooms, and throw some spooky light from the floor up to where it catches mostly the blood, but it gets the hint of the body inside. And they have lots of things to bump their way through, and they're not so hard that they'll end up injuring somebody, or like the common punching bags that are used, end up knocking somebody over. So that's about what I have, and I really enjoy being on Hauntworld the Movie Part 8. And if y'all have any questions about maybe some more ideas, you can email us at right through the Hauntworld Yellow Pages or at www.halloweenstudios.com. We're proud to be a part of the Hauntworld community. So without any further ado, I will turn you back over. Oh no.
You are being hurled through time and space to the ancient island of Lemuria, swallowed by the Pacific Ocean untold eons ago. Saurian warriors and primal vampires once waged war to control this savage land, but now an even greater horror has awakened in the fetid caverns below. Find your way to its spawning grounds, and I will return you to the present, if you can escape the dwellers in darkness. Bacteria. I need to destroy your world. Now my silence must rip you open to remove it from your intestines. This may hurt a bit.
Hi, gang. It's Wolfie here. Dr. Lady asked me to write down this important message he wanted to give you guys. Hang on, I had to write it down. It's kind of long. Stay tuned. That's it. Oh, and if you're wondering about the paper bag, I'm hiding from Laura. Shh, don't tell her, okay?
Good evening, Dr. Lady here from Horror Hotel once again. Tonight I'd like to address a problem that people have been coming to me with concerning the misleading labeling on the Hauntworld video series. Come in with those tapes, my dear. Thank you. Now you know, if you're a regular viewer of these things and you've been watching the Hauntworld series the whole time, and God help you if you have, you may have noticed some misleading product labeling here that people are starting to complain about. For example, regarding my hotel, okay? Says right here on the back of this one, tour some of America's best haunted attractions, including Horror Hotel. Well, you know what? I watched this tape 11 times. No Horror Hotel tour on there. This one too. Says right here on the back of the Hauntworld box, tour some of the nation's best haunted houses, including Horror Hotel. Well, there's a segment with me on here, but you know what? No tour of Horror Hotel. People are coming to me, hey, Dr. Lady, where's the tour of Horror Hotel? It keeps promising on the back of the box. I don't label these things. Do I know? No. So I'm like, Larry, you better get a tour of Horror Hotel on there. So the next one comes out. It says here, tour some of the nation's best haunted houses, such as blah, 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 and Horror Hotel. You know what? I watched this tape 4 times with my 128-year-old grandmother here. We didn't see any footage of Horror Hotel on there, did we? No. There was some footage of us, but no tour of Horror Hotel. See? Next one comes out. People are saying, Dr. Lady, where is the tour of Horror Hotel promised on the box? I'm telling them, it's Larry's fault, don't ask me. See this one right here? Right on the back there. Tour some of the nation's best haunted attractions, including Horror Hotel. You know what? No Horror Hotel. What's up with that? Same thing, this one right here. Dr. Lady's Horror Hotel. There's no tour of Horror Hotel on this tape. It's misleading advertising. There could be legal problems here from this. There could be repercussions. And when there are repercussions at Horror Hotel, believe me, they're grim repercussions. So we don't want that. Here's another one. Tour some of the nation's best haunted houses, including yada, 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 and Horror Hotel. There's no tour of Horror Hotel on this tape. What's up with this? So finally, we got sick and tired of it. We realized the only way we're ever going to get any footage of Horror Hotel's actual tour that shows people what it's like when they come through, rather than just these segments with me announcing things, is if we do it ourselves. Pull that one out. Now, do you see any Horror Hotel footage on there of the tour? No. Even though the box may promise it, there is no footage of the tour. Pull a little out. All right, that looks good. Now cut her off right about there somewhere. We're just going to edit it in ourselves. There we go. Now get that tape of the only surviving footage of last year's Horror Hotel tour. Now this won't give you the entire tour. We're just going to give you a few minutes give people a taste, finally, of what it's like when you actually go through the Horror Hotel tour. Yeah, pull me out maybe, what, you think 6 to 8 minutes worth? That looks pretty good. Now, just cut that off right about there. Okay. Now, give me the end of that other tape. Here it is, the Hauntworld. Now, we'll just fix this up, and everybody will finally get to see what Horror Hotel really looks like inside with the duct tape. What?
David, not the duct tape.
Oh.
Gaffer's tape.
Oh, that's much better. You're right. What was I thinking? We'll just tape this up ourselves. A little home editing never hurt anybody. Here we go. Give me that end right there, and then this end here of the Hauntworld.
That is the Hauntworld end.
Oh, that is the Hauntworld end. Where's the Horror Hotel end? Oh, there it is. Okay, give me that end of the tape. We'll fix this right up, and we'll have this ready before you can say triskaidekaphobia, if you can say triskaidekaphobia. Okay, now we'll just re-spool this, and we'll pop it in the VCR. Okay, that should be good enough. We'll just cut out some of that unwanted footage of Larry sitting at his computer and instead give you a little tour of Horror Hotel. Enjoy.
Welcome to Horror Hotel.
For 16 nights, monsters, maniacs, mummies, and more haunt the Horror Hotel Monster Museum, located just 9 minutes north of Bucyrus on Route 4 in Chatfield. These life-size monsters will get your heart beating no matter how long ago it stopped. Providing fun for all ages, the Horror Hotel Monster Museum is open every Thursday through Sunday in October.
Now it's time for part 5 of our 11-hour infomercial for the Horror Hotel Bacon Straightener, the product that restores your breakfast to its original aspect ratio. But first, here's a visit to Horror Hotel.
Ah, live human guests. How nauseatingly nice of you to pay us a visit. Welcome, curious friends, to Horror Hotel, where we provide a tomb away from home for all the ghosts and monsters who appear every October when Halloween draws near, and the barrier between the mortal world and the world of the supernatural weakens. As you can see, our front desk staff is simply dying to serve you, possibly to some of our other guests. But my fellow engravers and I will guide you safely through a private tour of the haunted halls of our eerie establishment if you'll finally come along with us into the lobby. We're hosting a mental health seminar for famous homicidal maniacs. Their psychiatrist, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, thinks he can help them deal with their anger in more positive ways. But if you ask me, I don't see how he can hack it. It looks like a disagreement over who gets the last slice of pie is already carving into their evening. Oh, good luck with your patients, Dr. Lecter. Sorry to cut in on you. Now, as for you, dear friends, follow me, and I'll show you around the upstairs. Come along, please. At the darker end of the hall, I see a fellow who's always trying to make a hot deal with any humans he meets. What he wants from you is your soul. So I think we'd better keep moving before he has a chance to make you any tempting offers. I suggest you step into our laboratory here and quickly, that's right, go on inside. Oh, I'm afraid we have a problem here in the lab. Our on-duty physician, Dr. Jekyll. Oh, my mistake. I see it's Mr. Hyde's shift. Anyway, Dr. Jekyll tried out his famous formula on the pumpkins, and as you can see, it turned out to be a bad idea. Our staff is trying their best to contain these highly dangerous flesh-eating pumpkins, but a number of them have already escaped the ground. So, I advise you to be extremely careful when approaching any unfamiliar pumpkins this year. There's no telling if we'll ever round up all these rampaging jack-o'-lanterns. It's certainly not safe for you in here. So let's move along quickly into the next room. Go right on in, please. Always a pleasure to have visiting royalty. And even though she hasn't been in power since the 17th century, Countess Elizabeth Bathory is still of noble blood. The Countess has somehow remained young and healthy all these years by bathing in human blood. After a 3-century trial period, she's reasonably certain that her process works. So now, it's only a matter of finding the right advertising agency, and her infomercials will be on the air coast to coast. She may be over 300 years old, but she's certainly not washed up. She may want to take a little blood bath before she goes public, so you'd better come along now. Go right into the next room, please. Go ahead. Fall is football season in the beyond, just as it is in the human world. And just because our guests are dead doesn't mean they can't enjoy a good game. And these ghouls have left their football widows behind and gotten together to watch tonight's big slay-off between the Washington Deadskins and the Green Decayed Packers. Oh, it looks like they have plenty of hot, bloody popcorn, and they're just oozing with team spirit. We know how people hate it when someone talks during a game, so let's leave them alone. Go right on across the hall and into the library, please. Ever since the original Dr. Frankenstein created his first monster, he and his descendants have kept on trying to perfect their medical techniques. Well, here we have a group of, to be frank, a group of their less successful experiments. Oh, they're so dissatisfied with the way they looked when they got off the operating table that they've decided to file a malpractice suit against the Frankenstein family. That's why they're here in our library. They're looking through the law books. Oh, I'm sure they'd get the lawsuit sewed up faster if any of them actually knew how to read. Oh, but they seem like they are making progress. So as long as they don't get out of hand and start drawing annoying crowds of torch-bearing villagers, we're going to leave them alone. Come along with me into the next room, please. We almost turned down this group's reservation when we thought they said they were campfire girls. Oh, but when it turned out they were vampire girls, we were happy to host their little outing. Like they say, ghouls just wanna have fun. If you notice any bats winging their way home after you tonight, I suggest you make sure you close your bedroom windows very securely before you turn in, or else you might turn into a vampire yourself if one of these ladies drops in on you.
Is we're going to run through some general tips that I think a lot of haunted houses overlook. We're just going to blast right through these and see what happens. Number one, never make a reference, a negative reference to your competition. You get all kinds of haunted houses take cheap shots at other haunted houses through their radio and stuff like this. I don't believe in it. I don't believe you should even make a reference to your competition ever. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, in St. Louis, we're the only haunted houses there are, and that's all there is to it. They can take cheap shots, at us, or have your competition take a cheap shot at you. But you know what? All that does is that just says that they're jealous of you, and they're indirectly promoting your business. People aren't stupid. People see right through that. Another thing is, if you have a competitor in your market that you're friendly with, you ought to try and trade coupons with them. I mean, hey, after they've already bought your ticket and they are going through your house, what does it hurt to give them a coupon to your competitor and he could do the same for you? That's going to help your business. Number three, try not to raise your ticket prices. Build a separate attraction. We already went over that in part 8, where you have your haunted house is 10,000 square feet and you have like a 2,000 square foot side attraction. Rather than trying to do food and games and all this other stuff that really doesn't work, it's a lot of labor and so on and so forth. They're coming to you because they want to see something cool and scary. So try to give them that. Give them another attraction that you can charge $3 or $4 or $5 for. Number 4, theme your queue area. I mean, it just looks terrible if it's a warehouse and that's it. Try to have it themed out with skeletons like this, hanging around, or some movie props, or whatever. You want to try to keep them occupied while they're waiting, like we talked about TV screens, showing scary clips and stuff. Number 5, put them in faster. The number one complaint that we hear is they waited too long in line. Hey, I know we're trying to put them in so fast or whatever, but if your actors know that they're coming through at a real steady pace, I think you're going to scare them just as effectively. You might need 1 or 2 more actors. Sometimes if we're going to run them through real fast, we'll go through and tell our actors, hey, they're going to come through a lot faster, and they actually prefer it. They prefer to send them nonstop, to send them a lot faster. So, and you tell them, just stay on your toes, and we're going to try to whip through this so we can get out of here sooner. But I think that the customers, for the most part, would prefer to go in a little faster and sacrifice a little on the other side of the fence. They don't want to wait in line all night long. And plus, if you don't have this tremendously long line outside, you'll sell more tickets, because people do drive up, see a long line, and leave. Number 6, promote your internet site on everything. With our advertising that we did last year, it was scarefest.com was the title, kind of like the title sponsor was the website. And we drove 32,000 unique visitors to our site from promoting Scarefest at the top of everything. On the radio commercials, it's scarefest.com presents, and so forth. So that's what we did. Number 7, don't add a sponsor just to have another one. If you don't want to be promoting 10 locations to get your coupons and whatnot. If you're going to add another sponsor, past the one, a reasonable amount, do it for a reason. They're paying you a lot of money, for example, or they're doing a great promotion for you. To have your coupons at just one more place isn't going to make that big a difference. Number 8, try to be more family friendly in your marketing. Is it really necessary to say you're the scariest thing, since The Exorcist or whatever? I mean, it's not necessary. You have to remember now that the biggest part of the market is not the people that are typically going to a haunted house. So you're excluding many people. I'm telling you, you go to a spooky world and you see, 75,000 or 80,000 people paying $25. You've got to wake up and realize that your haunted house needs to be family friendly, just like amusement parks. You're providing entertainment. Think about what you're doing as providing entertainment rather than scaring the living daylights out of people. And when you think about it that way, you might get a few more customers coming through your door. And that's really what it's all about in the end, is to have fun, but put as many people as you can through the door. Number 9, try to stay away from anything real or gory. Oh my God, I can't stand it when I walk in a haunted house and I see a Jeffrey Dahmer scene. Jeffrey Dahmer ate real people, okay? He ate people. He killed people. Ed Gein, he killed people. Real people, that's real. It's too real, Stay away from stuff like that. If you create a fictional character, okay, that's one thing. But to try to make a scene based on something that really happened is not in good taste. Number 10, buy any and all magazines, videos, and seminars. Hey, any seminar you can attend, and even if you paid $300 and you picked up 2 ideas, it's worth it. If you went to a seminar on how to create a budget and it helped you budget your haunted house out better and you saved $5,000, it was worth it. Any video, magazine, or anything that you can get your hands on information is real important. Of course, you need to check out Hauntworld, because there's a lot of information on Hauntworld. Number 11, visit as many haunted houses as you can during the season. I just keep hearing people say they can't get away. If you can't get away on a Thursday night when you're putting 250 people through, then your staff is pretty incompetent. You've got to get away, even if it's a short drive to another city. I've found that from city to city, haunted houses are completely different, and you pick up just a world of information. Number 12, never deviate from your budget. It's real easy that when you're operating your haunted house during the season, oh yeah, let's go out and buy, we need more blood, or we need more of this, or we need another mask, or, let's buy this or add this. I'm telling you, it's a rolling stone. And once you get going like that, and you buy this $30 thing and this $20 thing, and it all adds up, and at the end of the season, you're like, where'd my money go? So create a budget at the beginning and try to stick to it as best you can. Number 13, don't buy some big trick just because it's neat, or you're afraid your competition will get it first. Just because something looks cool doesn't mean you need it. Let me tell you something. This is the best advice I can ever give you. When you're building your haunted house, you've got a theme. It's a haunted mansion. Make it look like a haunted mansion. You don't need a bunch of $10,000 tricks and gags, okay, to make a haunted mansion look like a haunted mansion. you'd be better off taking $10,000 and buying props from a junk store. You'd be better off buying $10,000 and having somebody paint your haunted house to look like it's what it's supposed to be. That in itself is your number one asset, to have your maze look like what it's supposed to be themed after. Not big tricks. Don't worry about that. Just because one person bought it doesn't mean you have to have it. I'm telling you, do what's best for your haunted house only, and only buy things that really fit into what you're trying to accomplish in the end. Number 14, before you buy one animation, A, hire a real painter to detail your house before you think about doing something like this. B, build sets that look real. C, recess some props. And what I mean by that is you got codes, for example. Let's see, let me walk over here. This is getting away from what we're trying to do here. Let's see if we can you see this over here? Hard to see. Let me see if I can turn the light. Low back here, folks. Can you see that? Can we see that now? We made a cove. We've got a statue recessed in the cove. That looks cool. It's a dungeon. It's supposed to be a dungeon. It's what it looks like. You see this over here? You know, we built this archway. Okay, it's not 3D. It's not 3D. I mean, it's 3D. It's not flat walls. We've got 3D. It's supposed to be, a dungeon. So that's what we're trying to make it to be. Now let's see if we can come back over here. So as I showed you over there, I mean, recessing things, making your haunted house a little more 3D-ish. It's just not flat walls and stuff is more important than buying an animation right off the bat. And D, buy lots of filler props. I mean, things to put on the walls, things, couches, chairs, tables, books, so on and so forth, chandeliers. All these things are going to make your haunted house fit the theme that it's supposed to be before you get into all these things that'll gobble up your budget. Now, number 15. Always remember that fog covers up everything that's not done right. So if something doesn't look good, cover it up. Put some fog in there, lots of it. And you can actually take a floodlight and make the room green, like way Silo X. A lot of people have seen those Silo X's. They had the green fog rooms in the beginning. Those are cool, and it doesn't cost anything to do it. But fog covers up all the problems. So make sure you remember that. Number 16, old tricks still work. For example, fishing line. People walk through fishing line and it scares them. They don't like things touching them. Dark hallways where they can't see. All these things are still scary. People still like them, but sometimes we get a little too creative for our own good and we forget all the things that made a haunted house to begin with. I'm going to give you a few odd and end tips. These are some things you may have never thought of. Try to join the convention association in your market. Why? Because like a convention center brings in, thousands and thousands of convention goers every season. And people know about these, they're going to go to such and such convention in St. Louis, Missouri in 2003 or whatever. And these people will request from the Convention Bureau attractions and whatever. They'll tell the Convention Bureau, this is what we're looking for. And then the Convention Bureau will send a memo out to you, so you'll know that such and such is trying to book a group of 1,000 people for a themed night out or whatever. And so then you can respond back to these people. If you have your haunted house set up year-round, like in a warehouse or whatever, why not try to get convention business? Also, why not try to market your attraction for themed parties and corporate parties and things like this? Try to use your attraction throughout the year. Another thing is group sales. Buy from, like, every market's got like a business magazine, or a business newspaper or whatever that they put out. These people have the lists of businesses, and you want to send your group sales to human resources for each business and try to promote group sales, but you're going to have to put a twist on it. They're not going to just buy a bunch of tickets and give them to their employees. You're going to have to make it. Foolproof. Here's everything you're going to get. You're going to get a VIP tent. We're going to put everybody ahead of line. They're all going to get food, soda, and it's going to cost this much per person. That's what they want, and you have to offer them lots of extras. And maybe everybody gets no waiting line, special souvenirs, and so on and so forth. Now, that pretty much ends this tape. Hauntworld Part 9. It's over. It's a wrap. We didn't see Dr. Frightener. He didn't come back. So maybe that leaves a room for one more tape to get Dr. Frightener back in. And that has a lot to do with Dr. Lady, because he wasn't really able to resurrect him. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, we are going to take a look at several haunted houses that we've built here at Halloween Productions. They're all 3D attractions. And so we're going to kind of take a montage of all these 3D houses we have. And then eventually we're going to start rolling the credits over them. And that'll be it. So for Hauntworld Part 9, I want to remember to tell you to log on to hauntworld.com. And don't forget the trading post. If you got things to trade, you're looking to buy stuff, or you need some information, post it on the Fright Forum. You want to auction something off, or you want to find links to literally every company in the business, it's the place to go. And we'll see you again, either through another videotape series or something. I'm sure we'll do something. And until then, till next year, happy hauntings, and have a great and safe and successful next Halloween haunted house season.
I'm Jim O'Rear, and we just traded roles for tonight.
It's what everyone's been wanting to see.
So do you.
Vampiros Lesbos. First time uncut and in English. That's what happens when you don't bring a costume and you run into Laura.
There's just something oddly wrong about that, isn't there?
In the elevator, somebody just got through saying something about stuff you usually see in California just as the doors open, and we walked in.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And then someone said,
very good.
Oh, well, thank you, thank you.
Let me see the one. Hey, Sal Longo, eat your heart out. And look, it's John Floyd and his camera. His musical camera. Da, 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 dee.
I can't take it. You know what? That's ugly too. Hold on. Give me a focus. Are you all going to the Jerry Springer show?
Yes.
Thank you for watching Hauntworld the Movie Part 9. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because, as you know, we are doing videos across the country in some of the scariest, best haunted houses where we're interviewing owners and taking you all over the world, showing you the insides of haunts today. This video was about haunts yesterday. The videos we're putting on the YouTube channel are about the haunts today and beyond. So make sure you like and subscribe, make sure you follow us on Instagram, and make sure you update your profile or create a profile on hauntworld.com. And don't forget, we're also uploading new content to Hauntworld all the time on the blog, Haunted News, and so on and so forth. So thanks for watching, and get ready. Next time it's going to be Hauntworld the Movie Part 10. Can you believe there was that many? I don't know. I don't even remember how many there was. There was just that many. Until next time.
For scary videos and more, subscribe to our YouTube page, Hauntworld.com.